you about music camp. It's my camp that I've done for 14 years at Highland Park is called Amp It Up Music Camp. And we were talking just for a second about how that works and the history of it, 14 years of it. It's great for recruitment. We do it the same week as VBS because that gives the families a full day. And now going from there. It's really great for them. In fact, I'll have grandparents too that are, have got their kids for that week. They're saying, okay, can I bring them to your camp too? Yes. Of course, it's another opportunity to spread God's word. Using music is our tool, which is the best tool ever. And it's also a music education opportunity because we do music education, but through the church lens, if that makes sense. So when I came to full-time church work, it was from being an elementary school teacher and spent 9 years doing that. And so I had all these fabulous little songlets and wonderful things to do with kiddos that are so smart and so good. And I took all of those things basically and changed the words and made it either scriptural or God-centered, right? I mean, totally, but that's part of what we do as elementary teachers, right? Right? That's what we do. So that's what I do. It gives me the opportunity and my staff the opportunity to get to know more kids and to touch them through the love of music and the love of movement. And that's one of the things that's integral to this camp. There they are, the handouts are here. Is there's movement, there is variety in activity, and we do all kinds of fun things too. It can be a moneymaker for you if you need funds for your programming. Depending on how you work it, it can be. For me, it's not because I pretty much give the money that the kids pay back to the staff, which is helpful to them, which is how I keep a good staff. So, it's fun. That's the other part. It's fun to do it. It's fun for me, it's fun for the staff, and it's fun for the kids. Now, a little bit more about the history. When we started, it was a 5-day camp. So we went, VBS goes Monday to Friday, I went Monday to Friday. What I found after the first few years, and this is at Highland Park area is a very affluent area. Most of the folks that are there have affluence. And so often, I would find that if I started with 60 kids on Monday, by Friday afternoon, 15 or so would have left that morning, skipped the last day of VBS and gone to Cancun or Switzerland or, somewhere really awesome. And so they missed the final presentation, which was the culmination, right? They missed the end product, which is part of what we do, which is it's a worship service in song. The kids do everything, and that's how we end up. And so, when I was still doing it 5 days, this is several years ago, there was a huge storm that morning in Dallas, and all the electricity went off during VBS. We had you remember? There were 1,000 children in our church, and no electricity. We had all the big meeting place that I was talking about where they have their opening assembly is in the basement, so there's no windows or light. So they moved the children to the sanctuary, which has stained glass windows. So here are, all these children in the sanctuary, no air. A guy on the front with a megaphone singing, no microphone, right? So he had the little, so they're singing songs. And after the first hour and a half, the kids are sweaty and it's, it was bad. And so that day it was a Wednesday, I called all the parents, I'm in my office with the window because there was no light and calling parents, please come get your children. And so that day I only had 4 days and we pulled it off. And so my staff and I said, we could just stopped on Thursday. If we could do that in 4 days, maybe we could do it always in 4 days. And so that's when we kind of figured that way everybody's at the final presentation. All the parents get to see what their children have done and realize it wasn't just babysitting, but it was really educational and fabulous. And so that's why we turned to 4 days. Does that make sense? Because you can get a lot done in 4 days. So, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, one of the things that another another great reason to have it the same week as your VBS is you can just do one document, one email, one brochure or whatever for both events, right? And let's face it, there are gonna be more kids at VBS than are gonna stay, but at least you've gotten the word out to that many children rather than doing your own. It's less expensive. I have not had ones later in the summer at Highland Park, but that would be kind of a fun thing to do. Our VBS is usually the first, like right after school, and then maybe doing one in August, but I don't know. That would give something, your parents are ready for a little break, the kids are ready for something new. And do we have it up there? Yay! Oh my gosh, now let's see if I can make it move. Okay, let's see. This is a test. This is only a test. Bam. Nothing happened. Okay, that's okay. I can fix it. Do it this way. Look at that. No? No? Oh, wait, it's up here. Next. Okay. Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? Okay. We'll figure it out. I love it. Okay, so on your handout, we're going to look now at the handouts for the nuts and bolts. This is, I'm that person whose desk is always a mess, but I could tell you long distance, how many steps to walk in, what direction to turn, reach out your right hand, it's the second thing in that pile, and I would know exactly where it was, right? So when I say I'm really organized, okay, I am, but it's not in a way that people actually recognize as organization. But you know what I'm saying. I mean, there are lots of different levels of organization. So my office, my workspace is not neat, but I know exactly where everything is. And so I'm also that person who doesn't normally make my bed in the morning, but if you put a dish in the dishwasher wrong, I'm gonna, anybody else? Okay, so let's, claiming that there's, okay, so the nuts and bolts. For me, this is how I am successful at doing this, and it can be different for everybody else. But in September, so like in 2 months, I'm going to make sure that my senior staff is on board. What that means is, I'm going to go backwards just a second about what the camp looks like. It's basically an Orff-Schulwerk based camp, okay? Which means that for me, what that means is we have orchestra, that's one class. We go in rotations. We have 3 rotations. So there's orchestra. That's where all the xylophones and metallophones and glockenspiels are. And then that's every rotation is 40 minutes. Okay. Another rotation is movement, and that's taught by Jan Baker, who was retired now. But you know Jan. Oh my gosh. Oh, of course. Well, she's amazing, amazing, and she does movement for us and has for 11 years. And so that's movement. So they do folk dancing, they do line dancing, they do reels and just all kinds of fun things. She's amazing. And then the third rotation is drumming and unpitched percussion. And I've been blessed for the last couple of years to have Michael Chandler, who just finished his doctorate at UNT and is now going off to be a professor in Nashville. I'm so sad, but he's amazing. But that is the third. And so they go, we start together, like I said, at lunch, we watch a video, and then we move to singing time, which all of us go at the same time. So I'll have 60 to 80 kids, and we'll go together, we all sing together for 20 minutes, then we split up into the rotations, and then we have a snack break in the middle after the second rotation, do the third rotation, come back for more singing at the end, all together, and then go carpool. So the senior staff that I'm talking about are those teachers. I'm one, and then Jan, and then whoever does drumming. And that one kind of has to change sometimes, because Michael Chandler, he's famous, he goes all over the country teaching Orff-Schulwerk classes. And so sometimes he's available and sometimes he's not.
So if you didn't have a drummer person, are there some other things that you could substitute in for that?
I like that the best. I find another one. There are lots of people that there are lots of people that can do that. Michael's my favorite of all, but Darla Meek has done it for me. She teaches at at A&M Commerce. She's amazing. And, you know, I mean, I've had other people that were able to do that. That is, the kids love it. I used to have handbells and chimes, but I just didn't want them, some of my things got damaged. So, you know, with little ones. So for me, that's just really fun. So in December, okay, this sounds really, again, my desk, imagine my desk, but I request from my tech person online registration, the artwork to be updated, because basically I use the same, it's this picture right here. That's kind of the thing that we use for our artwork, but we changed the year and changed the color. And then if I'm gonna do a postcard, sometimes I'll send out a postcard after the original VBS mailing goes out. Sometimes I don't spend that money if I don't have it, and sometimes I don't have it. And just kind of requesting that stuff from the people that need time to do that. I am not gifted in that area, and I am blessed to be at a place that has helpers like that. In January, I request the bulk mailing postcard if I've decided to do it. I reconfirm with my adult staff to make sure that they're on, and get ready for the postcard to go out if I'm doing that. In February, I distribute the information, well, that's when the summer mailing goes out. And if your church does summer stuff, like camps or VBS or whatever, the earlier that goes out, we all know. I mean, parents plan their summer in January and February, so if they don't know those dates, you know, you gotta get that stuff out early. There's a list that I can request from the computer people that I can do a bulk email to, right? And I request that list, and then they make the list, and then they send it to me, which is kind of weird. I get the web page going and online registration. We did everything online this year, and it worked. It was amazing. I was kind of, you know, there's sometimes you have glitches, but I did everything online this year. And then I email in February, I email the church staff and let them know that their kids or grandkids can come for half price. I charge $150. It includes lunch, a hot lunch every day. I've been charging that amount for 20 years, so I haven't changed that amount, which is kind of stupid, I guess. Probably should change it. But since I took a day off, I thought, okay, that'll be the way that I make that better. But I mean, parents pay a lot for their kids to go to these camps. It's very helpful to our staff, because they're kind of on call to volunteer during the morning at the VBS, but then they can have their afternoon to work, and their kids are with me. And then I start recording the registrations on an Excel sheet. Okay, so that's just one of those organizational things, and you probably would know that already, that I always make sure that I've got their name, there's t-shirt size, it's the most important thing, allergies, second, well, actually, that's probably the most important thing, but parent, contact, blah, blah, blah. And so I get all that kind of organized so that I can, you know, play with that as I get closer. In March, I recruit the junior counselors, and I didn't put it on here, but the extra adults. Okay, so how many of you have a program or whatever in your church called Ministry Safe or Safe Sanctuary or all that? So you have to have 2 adults. Okay, so let me just say that I know those rules, and about 3 years ago, the youth minister head person walked into one of my Amp It Up classes and just was looking, because people come in all the time and just watch because it's really fun. And after that class, he came out and he goes, "Hey Terry, who was the second adult?" And I was like, "Krista Schmidt. She was my second adult. She was in college. She, was 20, so she didn't look like an adult, but she was an adult. And I was like, but you know what? I have another class that has 2 high school kids, but I just thought that they were, anyway, it didn't, sometimes I'm not real smart, and it didn't dawn on me, oh my gosh, I've got to have a second adult. But of course there were windows everywhere, so we were okay, but not really. So the next year I have now a second adult with every group, and that adult is kind of the group shepherd, we call them. And they don't have to do anything, they don't have to teach, but their presence is really important, right? And so they are so now I'm legal, but it just hadn't duh, because, in the education field, teachers teach all the time with no a second adult. Anyway, so blah, blah, blah. But not at church, and it just hadn't, that was kind of new, sort of, and it didn't register in my brain. But now it is, and it's all good. So I recruit those people too. And I give them a little something, a little check at the end, just as a thank you, because, it's 16 hours of their day, of their week. In April, I usually do a second email blast. Remember, don't forget to sign up for Amp It Up. And it's really interesting to me that when you send those things out, the registrations come real fast, right? And then they don't, and then they do again. And always the last week, like that Friday before VBS, I'm getting all these calls, and I'm like, sorry, we're full. But sometimes if I'm not totally full, I will accept somebody at that late date. But I've had this week. I had people on Monday of VBS in the morning asking if they were, and I was like, no. Sorry, but no. But because I really was a little bit overfull. And April is when I really start the detailed planning. April's also when I normally do my musical with my choir. And so it's kind of after that musical is done, then I start thinking, okay, what's the story gonna be? I always create the plan focused on getting to the worship time at the end, right? It's always a story in the Bible, and it's always, what that tells me, the story tells me, okay, so this is the song that I'm gonna use, and these are the words that I have to change, right? So, one of my favorite Orff little melodies is so so mi re do, do so so mi re do, so so la la do do la la so so mi re do. That's it. They can play it, they can hear it. It's easy for them, and so depending on the story, I make up the words that go with it. So this, let's say it's Noah. Noah built an ark. He was very smart. And then I have to think about it for a second. He used wood and pitch. Noah built an ark. Okay, so whatever. I take time to figure that out, make up the words, and then plug them into my finale so that I've got those words printed in there, and then that's how I work it. Does that make sense? So I'll take whatever story I'm doing, take the music that I'm going to teach, and make it fit, right, to tell the story, okay? Usually what happens in my planning, each group, and I do groups by colors. I'm going to kind of mix up all this stuff so it may not go exactly with my PowerPoint. It's all right, because it's better that way. So we found that the very best thing to do the last 2 years was to take the name tag. We have a little name tag holder like this, except not with the lanyard. I did lanyards one year, and they chew on the name tags. It was hilarious. I was just like going, oh my gosh, that's so gross. Why do you do that? So we use the ones that have the clips, that clip right onto them, not that hang on the thing. And so what I did on the first day is I had every child's name on 3 different colors of paper. So I do a blue group, a red group, a green group, whatever. You can choose your colors. And the blue group, and then all 3 name tags, a blue one, a red one, and a green one, whatever, were in the little holder. And I had assigned them, pre-assigned a group, a color to them. But if they were like, no, I want to be with my friend, and she's a red, and I'm a green, and then I would just take the green one and put it in front. I mean, it was easy to switch it that first day. But then after the first day, only their one is left, the one that they ended up in. Does that make sense?
So you take those out when they turn them in at the end of the day?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask how you keep
My
them
youth
from
keeper,
switching
my
it out.
youth helpers. Yeah, because they did, you're right, that's exactly what they do. They start changing the colors. And so they stay in that group, those are for the rotations. But they're with the whole group for snack time, for singing time, and for the lunchtime. So they can sit with their best friend then, and then go with their rotation group. I do the rotation groups by, okay, let me make sure that I say it correctly. I do it by age, but it's all mixed. So it's not all the kindergartners together. It's 4 kindergartners, 4 first graders, 2 second graders, 5 third graders, blah, blah, blah. So that there's somebody maybe in that 5th grade group that can keep the beat really well. So that, because, you know what I mean? So they can play the bass xylophone, and so I mix it on purpose, and then it's also a little bit of a mentorship for the big kids to the little kids, right? Now, I have had one year where I had so many kids that I needed a 4th group, so I made a kindergarten group, and they didn't do all of the rotations. They had some of their own rotations, like they had a little rhythm and reading session where the teacher that was assigned to the kindergartners had books, and we did little ostinati that went along with the books that they did, and little, unpitched percussion in there, and they didn't come to one of the other sessions, so they rotated differently a little bit. That was a little bit of a challenge to figure it all the timing out. That's the trick, because we're limited on rooms because of VBS, because like VBS takes over the world, which is, it should.
It does.
Yeah, we know, it takes over the world.
Children are in these groups. What is
20, optimally 20. This year I had like 22 in each group, so I have about 60. If I've got 60 to 66, that's optimal for me. If you've got 45 kids, that's 15 in each group, right? Which is great. It's better. I mean, yeah, it's better. It's better in some ways. But I love the energy of and I have enough instruments for that to happen. That's the other part, is the purchase or the borrowing of the instruments. And what I did at first, the church had some old Orff instruments that were not great. And so for the first like 2 or 3 years, I would take anything that I had left and buy instruments. And you can, like at SMU, after they do their Orff workshop, you can get them for a discount because and you don't have to pay for shipping. And so contact Julie Scott, because she, I guess she's still in charge of that. So anyway, that's part of the process, is kind of getting that. And sometimes somebody will give a gift to the church and say, let Terry do something for the kids. And so one year I bought drums, a lot of the set of tabanos and stuff, and that was really a good thing, because I was having to borrow those. Hey, can I borrow your drums for the summer? And then you have to go get them and blah, blah. But I've done it. I've schlepped a lot of instruments. We do it. And so that's how we do the different groups and how that works. But I found that mixed ages has been the best answer, rather than putting all the grade levels only. I don't like it that way. What it does is it just limits what each group can do. Whereas if it's mixed, chances are you can do whatever you want to, because you'll have somebody that's skilled. Let's say it that. Okay, so t-shirts. I give the kids a t-shirt with the cool logo on it, and I should have brought one, I didn't bring one. And I change the color of the shirt every year. So, the staff shirt is a similar color. So like if the kid's shirt is turquoise, the staff shirt will be light turquoise. It'll be different, but the same shirt, if that makes sense. Or if it's dark purple, the staff shirt will be lavender. If it's red, the staff shirt might be not pink, but a light red. They can do the denim look. So it's obvious. My staff includes junior counselors. And there's a little picture of some of my junior high and high school kids. And I try to get boys as much as I can. Kids love it when the boys are there. And so I go to my youth choir. Not my youth choir, the youth choir at our church. Most of whom have grown up through my program, and so I know them very well. Many of them have attended the Amp It Up camp, and so they know exactly how it goes. I love that, because I can go, hey man, Isaac, you know what to do with snacks, right? And he's like, yes, I got it. Boom. He knows what to do. Set them out, And so that is very helpful. I try to have, optimally, the adult group leader and 2 to 3 junior counselors with each group. So that's a lot of volunteers. And I usually, it's almost always the week before the youth choir trip. And so I give the junior counselors a little gift card at the end, so they can go buy a souvenir on the youth choir trip, right? So anyway, that's how I do that, and that's why why it's not a moneymaker, because I give it all out, which is, but then people want to volunteer. then they wanna come back the next year, cause, oh yeah, Miss Terrie's gonna give us a gift card, okay. Usually my t-shirt guy, needs about 3 weeks of notice of how many to order, and so I will give him way early the color that I want, and he's already got the design, and so, I will tell him about 3 weeks ahead of time. I'll cut off registrations and then give him the numbers at that point. And then he delivers them to me, and then we give them out. We don't give them out until right before the program, until after snack time, right before the
Yeah.
Okay, I learned that the hard way, because one year I gave them out on Monday, and I said, where are these tomorrow? And then I never saw them, and, then they didn't all have them still by the time the end of the week came along. So I just give them to them, we'll have our snack time, and then as soon as they're finished, they wash their hands, they go to the next room, some kid puts a t-shirt over their head, and then they're ready to go. One of my youth helpers helps them, or a bunch of them. Okay, so the story. I usually will write a short narration and then fit in the different groups. So, back to the planning of things. So the orchestra class that I teach, each class, so there's 3 groups, each group will learn to play one piece. Lots of ostinati, so it's super fun. But they will learn to dance the other 2 groups' pieces. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I usually do a little circle dance for each one, or it could be different, it could be a partner dance, or a partner game. But we learn, so each group learns all 3 of those songs, but only learns to play one of them, all right? On Wednesday of the week, I have a page. My lesson plan has a list of the different instruments, so like AX with 6 blanks or whatever, how many alto xylophones I have, I probably had just 3. And so, and I will kind of audition the kids during the time that we're doing, so who can keep that beat steady, and that's the bass xylophones. Okay, so those 3 kids are gonna do that, and then I'll say, everybody else go to a new instrument, and then they'll switch instruments, then we'll do the alto xylophone part, and then I'll assign those 3, and then, okay, everybody else, you 3 stay here, you 3 stay here, everybody else go to another instrument, and then, so that I've got it written down, because they will not remember the next day, right? They will have slept and gone to swimming and other
Or hope
things.
you forgot.
And I would not forget, and I will not remember either, so I've got it all written down. I finally figured that out. Some things take me a very long time, but but 3 years ago, I was like, if I just wrote it down on Wednesday, then I wouldn't have to think about it. Yeah, well done. Some things take me a while. And then the dances that the kids do are also included in the story. So for instance, if it's Noah, we'll do a grand march. Jan and I have we've done this 11 years, we kind of have a group of dances that the kids love, that she loves to teach. And so we'll say, okay, let's see, how can we make that fit? What could we fit the story for the animals coming in 2 by 2? And so we do a grand march, which is the kids all line up, they go down the great hall. The room that we do the presentation in is bigger than this, but it's a rectangle, so it's similar. So they'll start down here. They're in 2 by 2s, right? So we're talking about Noah and the animals came 2 by 2. So they go to the end, and then these 2 go that way, the next 2 go that way, and they come around. And so then they're 4s. Do y'all know that? I mean, am I telling you something you don't know? Okay, so, and then the 4 go this way, and the next 4 go this way until you've got all the kids, and then they're 8s. And then that's where they stop, and then we sing the next song, which is a group song. So they're kind of in rows for that. Does that make sense? So I mean, we're like really good at this now. We know what to do, and so it's like, yes. So we'll do that dance, and then we'll sing a song about the animals, and then blah 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 that we've learned during the group singing time, right? So, and then the purple group will go play the drums, and it'll be the storm drum thing. And I take responsibility for writing the drum part for the drum teacher every year, and then they can do whatever they want for the rest of their time. But the thing that they are going to do for the performance, I usually write it. And it's, again, Orff-Schulwerk based. I do 3 different ostinati, and usually one is going to be bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, because the kids love that one, And so those might be, then the rain came, then the rain because my drummers are fabulous teachers, they'll teach them a little motion to do for each little ostinato around their drum or something. And then, thunder, it came, and that might be a shaker thing, thunder, it came, and you put that all together, and then the third one might be, picture, 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 crush. Okay, so this group will play, then the rain came, and then the next group will add, thunder, it came, blah, blah, blah. And so it adds up. And so they'll chant it first during the presentation. They'll chant their ostinati, put them together. Then they'll start drumming pitch percussion, and then they stop. And does that make sense? And so again, that's part of the story, and it lines up. So what you have to kind of think about is, if the purple group's doing that one, then you're not going to want their Orff piece to be the thing right before it. You're going to want their Orff piece to be 7 things before, or 3 things before, because we do a lot of different things in that thing, because every class does an Orff thing. So that's 3 Orff things, 3 drumming things. I usually do 2 to 3 dances, 3 or 4 songs. So, it's kind of, you just kind of have to, and then like if the green group is playing the Orff instruments, the purple group and the red group are dancing. And then the purple group goes to play the drums, the green group sits down in their dancing circle, and then everybody gets into a big circle to do a spiral dance, and then everybody goes to their choir positions to sing the next song. So that's what Thursday is. Thursday, yes, is the transitions. And it's really, we've got, it works, and if you're calm, they're calm. If you're not, if you're frazzled, they'll be crazy. But we give them plenty of, they're moving all the time from one position to the next, and it works. So that's what Thursday's like. So food, okay, like I said, I provide a hot lunch for them every day, and you can do it different ways, depending on your particular situation. We are very blessed that there is a caterer at our church that uses our kitchen, and so we can hire the caterer to do it. It's expensive. She charges $7 for a little cheeseburger and a little pile of chicken nuggets, or it's like a lot, I think. But I don't have to go get it, and so it's like score. Okay, but the other things that we thought about, because I did have a mom that said, what if I just went up and picked up, 80 Happy Meals? Well, that would be a lot cheaper. And so I've thought about that, and then I just didn't do it. But, you could do that, or go get 100 tacos from Taco Bell. You have to call ahead, right? Call ahead. Okay, next Wednesday, I'm going to be at your place at 11 o'clock, and I need 100 tacos. But there are other possibilities,
Our church has had some arrangements with local vendors that
nice.
will come to like our day school and bring lunches on Friday and that kind of stuff. And so we've already got connections with them, so
Yes.
we could say we need this many
Exactly.
pizzas or this many whatever.
Exactly, and and so use your imagination. But what I learned early on, because it used to be that I would stand at the beginning of VBS every morning at 8:30 with a cart, and the children that weren't amped up would come with their lunch boxes and put them on my cart, and I would take them upstairs. And I know I had 2 brothers whose behavior was abysmal, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with them? It was abysmal. And so the second day I checked their lunches. They had a red drink, they had a jelly sandwich, not a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, white bread and red jelly. They had red gummy bear. It was like everything was red. I was like, Cheetos, it was like the least nutrition. There was no nutrition in this box. And I thought to myself, well, no wonder they're acting like that. You know, because there's nothing good in their box. And so that's when the next year is when I decided I'm gonna choose what y'all eat. And I know that I have allergies. I have some significant allergy kids in my program. So they bring their own, but I know their mom, and their mom sends the stuff that a bag of nuts, and she hands them the things that they can actually
So
eat.
only the allergy kids are allowed to bring their own? I'm imagining a
Yes.
few that feel like my little
My child can
pumpkin.
bring his own lunch, yes. Although I tell the parents what the lunches are, and they're good, it's hamburger one day, cheese separate, because I know some kids don't like the cheese. It's chicken nuggets one day, and it's spaghetti one day. And when I tell them and then pizza on Thursday, we do a pizza party on Thursday. And y'all, it's very inexpensive. That's the best day I have, it's very inexpensive to do that. And so, if you go to Little Caesars or CC's, right, those are they don't deliver, so you have to have somebody that goes and gets it. But anyway, so I try to do that. For snacks, I choose their snacks, and it's usually apples one day. Sometimes I'll do grapes one day if I have the energy to undo them, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll get those assorted chips, not the fat-free ones. They do not like, the whatever, you know what I'm talking about, the baked one. It's like, there's something wrong with my chips. Yeah, I know. There's less bad stuff in there, yeah.
Do you make any effort to coordinate those snacks so that they don't duplicate what they're doing in the VBS snack?
That's a great question, and I don't. The VBS snacks that I've witnessed in our VBS,
We have some awesome VBS snacks, that's why I was
ours are, well, they're fun. They're like, put together your own
Wheelbarrow or whatever.
something. You'll end up with marshmallows and M&Ms all over the floor. It's really amazing. So they don't concentrate on health, on non-sugar. I concentrate on non-sugar because I have to teach the kids, right? So I try not to give them sugar. The last day though, I usually will give them a Rice Krispie treat or something on Thursday. It's right before the show, the presentation, and they need a little bit of sugar right now. So, but no food coloring and no gluten. So, anyway, I know, isn't that awful? But here, drink this Coke. No, I'm just kidding. I don't give them a Coke. I don't give them a Coke. So every June, I have to go back and reorganize my instruments, make sure that I've got the mallets in the right, because during the year, sometimes I will take out instruments and use them during choir, and then sometimes I don't get the mallets back, and it's all me. So that's just a task that I have to do in June, is to make sure everything's there. Name tags, as I said, you can either do stickers, 5 sets of stickers, but again, they just take them off. And it just, and they switched the little, because a couple of years I did that, and I put the little round dots of the colored dots for their groups. Well, I looked around and they were picking off their dots and changing dots with people. I was like, y'all, come on. So anyway, so that's when I changed to the colored clip-on thingies. But I do one extra set of name tag labels that are sticky to do on the t-shirts, to put on the t-shirts, so that I know whose size is what. And that's just one of those things, a task that I give to the junior counselors after class, one day of the week, maybe on Tuesday, to go through and sort the t-shirts and roll them up, put the tag on there. I used to give the parents a little bulletin for that final presentation so they can follow along and see what their children are doing or what they've learned. And it's a keepsake, and I put the little logo thingy on it, and then I also put what's coming next, and I'll put kickoffs for choir, acolyte sign-ups, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff is at the bottom so that they kind of have that in their brain. I give them an invitation. It's a half sheet of, it sounds so official. It's a little half sheet paper. It says, don't forget to come tomorrow at 3:30 for your child's final performance or whatever. Worship presentation is what I usually call it. And I give that to them on Wednesday during carpool, okay? And we do carpool. Some parents come up and take their kids. Some parents will come in. We're on the 3rd floor. They'll come in and stand on the 1st floor where they know we're exiting and take their kids out of the line. But most of the kids parents just line up in the carpool line. And what I've learned from Children's Chorus of Greater Dallas, of which I'm a part, one of the conductors for that, is for carpool time, we send a parent down 10 minutes early and get her to go down the line and write down the names of the first 10 cars, and then those kids get into the line first, and you've got the first 10 cars out of there, and then the next, and then I send I have a little volunteer chain that holler, Nathan's next, so Nathan will come and, stand next to this so that the cars will come this way. You can usually get 2 to 3 cars loaded at the same time if you're organized. Again, it takes until about Wednesday before the kids understand. If Miss Terrie calls your name, you got to go over here, not over there, because then only one car can get loaded. If that makes sense. If the cars are coming this way, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cars are coming this way. If your kid's parent is next, they come stand over here so that their parent will come here, and then you can get through them. Okay. And it's pretty interesting. I've only had a couple of kids that were late getting picked up. And we call, after 5, if it's 5 after 4 and their parent's not there, we call. Just to say, hey, everything okay? Did you remember your child? Oh my gosh, I'll be there in 5 minutes. That's one. Okay, love you too. I'm just kidding. No, it's never that. It's always, there's a traffic problem, and there always are traffic problems. I invite the whole church staff to come to the Thursday presentation because it's fun and it's cool for them to see what we've done, that it's not just been a lot of noise. They have heard a lot of noise. Or joyful noise, music. And then I do give appreciation gifts for the volunteers. Like I said, little gift card for their little deal. Make sure you get your check requests done for your staff if you're paying them. And then implement the week. Once you've done the planning, implementation is the easy part, right? Once the kids are there, you've done your work, then you get to play. And at least that's my philosophy. I try to do my work ahead of time so that when they're there, I'm all them. I'm all about them, and I'm not worrying about details. Afterwards, I have an intern that helps me, and the week after, we're like totally cleaning up the closet because, that after the performance, the youth volunteers put up all the instruments, so we usually have to go redo a little bit. Although, I do have some really smart youth volunteers that take a picture of the closet before we set up, and then they just pull it up on the front. Okay, alto telephone here, blah, 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 and they can kind of, I finally have a couple of older kids that get that done. There's a list of things that I do for snacks. Carrot sticks, they love ranch dressing, right? So I get them ranch dressing, I don't care. I use ice and water. I do not serve lemonade or Kool-Aid or anything. It's like I give them water because that's really what they need. And they're singing, they're walking, they're dancing, they need water, and so that's what I give them. No milk, because, just don't. During lunchtime and snack time, if I do have some serious allergen people, I have an adult sitting with them at that table. Not as a punishment, but as let's just make sure that nothing bad happens, Mm-hmm. So, and again, these snacks are not gonna usually provide that. So, when we go to get the kids, I'm gonna talk really fast right now. When we go to get the kids after VBS, I have a team that goes and gets the kindergarten children who are in individual classrooms. There's like 6 classrooms of kindergartners. So they will go, they've got a list, and they'll go to each classroom and pick up I usually have 2 teams for that. So I've got 2 adults with this team, 2 adults with this team. They know they've got a list, an attendance list, what rooms they're in, and they go. So like they'll go to room 2 and get 10 kids, and they'll go to room 3 and get 2 kids, and they'll go to room 4 and get 2 other kids. And then they take those kids to the bathroom, and I tell them which bathroom to use. We have lots of bathrooms at the church. And I just say, okay, you guys go to the 2nd floor bathroom way down there. You guys get your kindergarten kids and go to the 3rd floor bathroom way down there. And then I go get the giant group from the 1st through 5th grade who are all together in Wesley Hall. And I find, again, it only takes me a few years. 2 years ago, now I've done it for 3 years, so this is the 3rd year that I did it. I figured out that if you put the children in the order of your roll sheet along the wall, the 2nd day, some of them remember where they were sitting. And the 3rd day, they all remember who to get in line by. And so you can check roll like that instead of, okay, is Jane here? I don't see Jane. Is Jane, you know? And so now I know Jane's right here. And then the second person is Abby. And the third person is Andrew. You know, and they know how to line up. And then we walk upstairs together, 2 rows behind me. Nobody gets in front of Miss Terrie because we have to go up 4 flights of stairs. He's like, oh, you know, but I'm like that. They're like, come on, Miss Terrie, you can do it. You know, we've only got 1 flight to go. And then we go to the bathroom. I know it's awesome. But again, that's good because they can get some of that crazy energy out by doing a little bit of walking upstairs. Okay? So, all of that to say, I've given you a list of the lunch videos that I have had success with. Do any of y'all know Marvelous Musical Mansion? It has nothing to do with God or Jesus, but it's got a lot to do about music. And the kids love it. It's a We Sing video. And it's grown up enough that even the big kids love it. I mean, the junior high kids love it. My helpers love it. They're like, can we watch Marvelous Musical Mansion one more time? I'm like, we've already watched it once this week. But it's beautiful singing. It's fun. It's a fun story. It's a mystery. And so we talk about God and Jesus all morning. We talk about God and Jesus all afternoon. At lunchtime, we don't. So I'm sure that there would be other things. Like, I know that there are things, VeggieTales and stuff like that. But some of my big kids would be going, VeggieTales, really? You know, come on. So, Frozen, Mary Poppins. They love Mary Poppins. And Happy Feet. There are some scary things in Happy Feet. I tried Beauty and the Beast one year, and I had a child that was absolutely terrified of it. You know, so it's like, okay, no more Beauty and the Beast. There was something else that was scary that I didn't think was scary. Anyway, I don't use that anymore. And then by the second day, they go get their own name tag off the table. But the first day, we hand them out. Okay, the junior counselors serve lunch. They go and put the little lunches at their plates, ask them if they want cheese, ask them if they want ketchup, blah, blah, blah. So they really do, they do a really good job of being helpers, and they like that. They like to be important that way. Group sing, blah, blah, blah. So that gives you the schedule, literally the schedule of the day. And does that make sense? It gives you a minute by minute how the day works. I make for the JCs in their little thing a tiny schedule, like teeny tiny, that tells them where they are supposed to be through the day. And so I have one for myself too, and they go like this. They can go, oh, it's 3:20. I'm supposed to go fix the snacks or whatever. So they have that always, and then there's a separate one for Thursday that shows that schedule, so they just flip it over for Thursday. And that's been very helpful to all of us, except I need glasses now to be able to see my because it's teeny tiny. Blah, 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 da, da, da. That Thursday, there's the schedule for Thursday. And we have a big parade, we take the music and the instruments and all that. We rehearse, we take a stretch break, we have snack. And then literally have snack, put on the t-shirts and go down and do the deal. We do this camp barefoot. Nobody wears shoes. Me, no kids, nobody. And that's just an Orff-Schulwerk thing that I've got left over from my teaching days. That is great because they can feel the music from the bottom of their feet to the top of their head. And it's safer for dancing because you don't get one kiddo that's got flip-flops and another kid that's got their big old heavy shoes that go crunch and then there's crying. So we just take off our shoes and they think that's kind of fun, right? One of the floors is cold, but the rest of them are carpeted. Especially during the presentation. Yeah, especially. We just line up all the shoes along one wall, and at the end, they are responsible for going to get their shoes. And their crafts. I mean, they've all got the stuff from VBS every day. So they put, when we have our singing time at 1, that's when they take off their shoes, leave their crafts under their chair, and then the rest of the day, they don't worry about that stuff until they get back. And I make them take off anything that's extra. If they've got a little bracelet, that goes under their chair. If they've got a little necklace, that goes under their chair. In the parent letter that I send out like the week before, just reminding them, you signed up for Amp It Up, I remind them not to bring anything of value. I had one child bring something precious, and I can't remember what it was. It was years and years and years ago. And it got lost. And there was nothing I could do about it. I mean, it was lost. And why did that child, it was something really, I don't know what it was, sentimental. I don't think it was like a phone, but it was something of value to that child, obviously, but, and I don't know whether it was lost with me or in the morning. I mean, so, anyway, so I just said, please don't bring anything of value, with your child, they don't need it. We've got 3 minutes, does anybody have a question? Yes?
Do you have an issue with duplication of volunteers? I'm thinking that most of the people who work in our camps that we have had also are expected and routinely involved in VBS, and an all-day commitment
It's
can
a
be
lot.
challenging.
It's a lot. My kids, my youth helpers, all help during the morning too. And they actually love, and their parents love
I'm
it.
thinking of the adults.
Okay, my adults, the adults that I use don't normally volunteer. I mean, it's a different set of people. So they don't normally volunteer during the morning. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm lucky in that. I mean, it's people from the chancel choir that help me usually to do the adult part. Or my intern is one of them, I mean, so they're not really involved in VBS, so I don't have that, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But I
that's
know
one
what
of
you
the reasons
mean.
why we had to do it at a different week because of the duplication issue, because.
I wonder if you offered it to parents, if you said, if you'll come and volunteer for me one day,
Your kid gets a
I'll give you a
discount.
discount. And if you split it around, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, we have actually, instead of paying those volunteers, we
Right.
have said, your kid or
You're
your
giving them free,
grandkid or
sure.
your sibling or whatever,
Right.
they
Yeah.
get a discount or they get in free or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, that'd work. I would think that'll work. The thing about having it that day is it's just, I mean, the same week, it's just, you get so many more kids.
And then the other thing is, we have a full day camp, and the whole day camp comes to VBS,
Oh, wow.
along with their workers and all that kind
Right,
of stuff. And day camp is officially over at 4 o'clock, but they offer extended care before and after,
Ah,
which would complicate the whole carpool thing, because not everybody's leaving at 4 o'clock. Some of them are there till 6 or 6:30.
right. Yeah, we don't have after. I had one person ask one time, and I just said, no, I gotta go. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be tired by then. I mean, because you have to have two people.
Yeah, well, we've had to
And now we have
negotiate
to
with
be
our
inside
day
of it.
camp of what kind of, when we had our thing at a different time, if there were some day camp kids that
Oh,
wanted to
gotcha.
participate, what kind of, did they have to pay for both of them? They have to pay
Oh,
for the
yeah.
whole day of day camp and they pay for the.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
The first year you did it, did you not 60? Do you remember?
The first year I did it, yes, because there had never been anything like it at the church. That's one thing, when David Davidson, who hired me, asked me to come, and I told him, things that I had done in my choir things before. He said, a music camp? I've always wanted to have a music camp. That's a great idea. And so, yeah, I know. Anyway, so yeah, I had, but then I didn't have any competition. And a few years later, the sports camp people thought, oh, Terrie's so smart, we're gonna have a VBS week camp too. Right, and it's all sports and stuff, and so that's great, and so it's great.
You have that too?
Not right, but not right now, because we don't have a gym. We're under construction, but next year I'm sure that they'll have it back again. That's why I think, I mean, I've had anywhere from 45 to 80. 80 was too many. I'll just say that. It was just too many,
Yeah.
No, then I had a fourth. I had a that's the year that I separated and had kindergarten separate. So, you have to be sure too that people are the right age. Some people say that they finished kindergarten, but they haven't.
Yeah,
Oh, surely not.
I can't imagine that.
I know, it's like, seriously? Come on, I can look on the database, I can see your child just barely turned 5.
Your child was enrolled in our preschool last year, I'm sure that wasn't kindergarten.
Yeah, so, anyway, well, God bless y'all. If you have any questions, did I put, I don't know if I put my email on here. Anyway, whatever, somewhere. Correct. And of course, you have more younger than older, with the big kids,
They have so many other.
they go to other stuff, they go to other stuff, they go to sleepover camps. God bless y'all, have a good year.